John,
Hammer time, baby.
Mike, you do the pledge. John, you do the prayer, okay? Thank you. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's a work session, September 2nd. Roll call, please.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker, Lynch, Escadade, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Everson. We have a quorum, Mr. President.
We will ask Commissioner Escadade to say the invocation, and Commissioner Williams will lead us in the pledge. So y'all rise, please.
You get used to all y'all rise.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today. Thank you for this country we live in. We ask that you guide all our actions so that they may be in the best interest of the people of Caddo Parish. We also want to thank you for all the men and women who wear a uniform of any kind in defense and service of our nation. Thank you for all the blessings. Amen.
Amen.
Raise the flag. Repeating you after me to recite. Render the proper salute. Repeat after me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. And next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next we have agenda additions.
Do we have one agenda addition? We have first of all, we have a motion to expand and add an item to the agenda regarding two items. Can we do both of them one time, or do we need to do them separate?
Separate. You got to vote to expand it, then you vote on the motion.
All right, we got a motion. So moved. Hang on one second. We need to know what it is.
Subject matter.
He's in a hurry today.
Dealing with the Marketplace Internet Tax Fairness Act, and the other one is dealing with the Parish Transportation Fund as opposed to the state.
Okay, so I have a motion to expand and add to the agenda the matter concerning the Marketplace and Internet Tax Fairness Act, correct?
Yes, correct. That's
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Do we have anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this or against this?
I'm just talking to myself.
So, you have to say that first. You do.
Change the rules all the time.
Okay, I passed 11-0.
The other one is authorized resolution 46 to oppose changing the Parish Transportation Fund.
Okay.
That's House Bill number 1.
Okay, I have a motion to expand and add, moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Bowman. Is there anybody here wish to speak in favor or against this agenda addition? Seeing none, please vote.
Why didn't you start that?
What's
That's
that?
correct.
That is correct.
Todd, is that correct?
It is correct.
Todd went to a seminar.
We just let you do it
Todd,
wrong.
hang on, guys. Todd, you went to a seminar, and that is correct.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Cut his travel budget, then he's wasting time.
We coming back and correcting us.
Okay, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next we have citizen comments.
First of all, we'd like to thank each and every one of you being here today. If you wish to address the commission, you need to fill out a comment card and forward it to myself or the clerk. Comments by any citizens will be limited to 3 minutes. Todd, I don't have any cards. Do you?
No, sir.
Nobody wishes to speak? Okay. Next item.
We just had Tina Marie walk in the room. So,
We move to reports, administration report.
Okay. No. Do we have some visitors or?
Under admin reports.
Okay, they're an admin report.
President Dominic, Commissioners, good afternoon. We have a commission request for the information from the levy board, and we invited and accepted Ms. Carolyn Prater, the president of the levy board, and Ms. Ali Estafa, the administrator. They're both here at the request of a commissioner for information.
Okay.
So at this time, would either one of you like to come in?
Both of them.
Here before the
Come
commission,
on,
please.
Come on, Wally. Come on, Wally. You ain't gonna let.
All right, y'all got the cameras on?
I'm Carolyn Prater, and I'm president of the Caddo Levy Board. And great things have been happening at the Levy Board. We got our levies accredited, and the citizens at Caddo Parish, actually, the tax went down, the flood insurance tax, working with Mr. Dumache. So it's been a great year at the levy board. But the best thing, better than the accreditation and better than the lower taxes, is our new administrator, and that's Mr. Mustafa. So he is, so far, he knows everybody, he knows people throughout the state, and so we're just thrilled to have him. So, Mr. Mustafa.
Thank you all for inviting us, me and Ms. Prater, to come in here in front of you all. I'm glad to be serving the Caddo Parish citizens, and I'm looking forward to working with Caddo Parish administrators and the City of Shreveport and all the public entities in this area for the betterment of life and the welfare and safety of everybody, and that's what our mission as a Caddo Levy District. We are to provide flood protection for the citizens of Caddo Parish, all the way from the Arkansas line all the way to the Soda line. I'm looking forward to serving and working with everybody in the future, and if you all ever need us or need anything from us, please feel free to contact me anytime you want to, and I'll be glad to work on any issues you all have, you need any assistance and support.
Mr. Mustafa, we have a couple of commissioners that would like to ask you questions. And first of all, I'd just like to say thank you and congratulations on your new job, and we look forward to working with you too. Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, Holly, congratulations, and you're an excellent choice. And just to let you know that I want you to stay employed, I have a request for you here.
Job security.
You can frame that as your first official citizen's request.
I'll be glad to frame it. Do I need to read it or say
That's the
secret?
Yeah,
Secret request.
Take care of it, please.
Thank you. I will take care of it.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Thibodeau.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that all you have? Need to write something down and give it to Randy or Dr. Wilson?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
If I need to, I will.
If it gets taken care of, that's what we need to start doing, right?
Wait a minute now.
Mr. Cox?
You and I go way back when I first got in politics, and you helped me out in Southern Hills on some things, and you basically taught me a few things to know when we were working areas of concern. You've always been upfront with everybody, whether it be good news or bad news.
Yep.
And that's what we need. We need somebody in there that can actually tell somebody or tell a group of people what they need to know now, and put it in a way that they understand it. And so good luck on your job, and I'm glad to see you there, and, you know, good luck.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. I appreciate it.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. President of the body, Ms. Prater, and her board for selecting you, has the wisdom to select you to navigate us through the process regarding this body of water, the levee board. We're excited to have you on board. I've done some homework on you. You've been around for a while. I'm not going to say how long, but you have a very accredited record of the profession you chose to work in. So thank you here again. My concern is with all the body of water throughout Caddo Parish, particularly district that I represent, and oftentimes we have to get an attorney general opinion because people in the Cherokee Park area are suffering from many problems that manifested there with mosquitoes, dead catfish in the water. Water has a lot of a bad smell during the summertime. You have children, you have senior citizens. One of the duties and responsibilities of elected officials to promote and protect the general health and welfare of the citizens of Caddo Parish. And oftentimes we was able to negotiate with my colleagues up here $50,000 to provide some relief, to bring in some machinery that deals with the levee board and the water there in that situation. However, Attorney General came back and said we couldn't help innocent poor people that live in an inhumane condition in our parish. So I've spoken with Ms. Prater on several occasions regarding how can we compromise or find some common ground to provide some protection and some alternatives to the property owners. We maybe thought about a right-of-way agreement to provide that, a right-of-way agreement to the city of the parish, because we're getting to pointing fingers. The city and the parish says it's not our jurisdiction, it's not our sovereignty, it's not our problem. When the people that need help don't care where the help comes from. So hopefully, I'd like to sit down with you and our administration and give us some guidance on how we can make that work. People want solutions, not excuses. we find excuse to do everything, but we want to be solution oriented. So how can we find some legal way to get that done through your office, through Ms. Prater and through our staff? So I'll be sitting down with you, and if you have any comments on how that can happen, I would love to hear a little bit of it before we talk later.
I definitely share your concerns. Cherokee Park has been one of these problematic areas for a long time. I remember 3-4 years ago when we had the drought, I went there personally myself because I was working with the city back then, as most of you all know. And I went in there and I looked at the dead fish and the smell and all that. I share your concerns. It's a problem that has been going on since that bayou was dredged in 1958. That's when the last time that bayou was cleaned and dredged, and it was done through the state of Louisiana, because as you know, and everybody knows in this room, that water body at one time it was part of the Red River, which is considered under title, I think if I remember correctly, 506 of the state, as it's the property owners own that to the center line of the bayou. As a matter of fact, the center line of the bayou is the parish line between Caddo Parish and Bossier Parish. So that point in there is a very critical point. You're crossing over a path in there. But the last time that bayou was dredged and cleaned out, it was in 1958 by the state of Louisiana. Back then, I know most of you weren't around, and I wasn't around back then in 1958, 57.
Mike Thibodeau, he was here. I wasn't.
Mike Thibodeau was here. The state of Louisiana used to have Department of Transportation and Development, and they used to have Department of Public Works.
Yes, sir.
They used to be two different departments, two different entities completely, and they merged together in the 70s it became the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. It absorbed the Department of Public Works. There used to be completely two different secretaries, two different departments and everything. And that's when a lot of these projects were getting done through the state of Louisiana, because they were getting funding for the Department of Public Works. There is still a Department of Public Works now, but it's not its own entity, it's under the OTD. But the funding restrictions in that department is so strong, they always keep it limited to a certain amount. So I think the best avenue for the three entities in here, Caddo Parish, the City of Shreveport, and we'll be glad to help you out as Caddo Levy District, petition the state of Louisiana to tell them we need help, we need assistance in this body of water. Let's see what kind of plan we can come out with. I think that's the best avenue for for Cherokee Park to be taken care of. At the same time, it's going to be under, I'm not trying to complicate things, but before you do anything like that, you have to go through the Corps of Engineers, because there is a 404 type permit requirement for any time you do some dredging or cleaning for some kind of body of water. It's like Mr. Cox said, I'm always out front with everybody, so I'm trying to give you the pros and the cons and how this can be done. And I think that's the way this thing needs to be approached, and the way we need to start the dialogue about it, try to work with the state of Louisiana.
But let me just say, I'm not looking to try to solve the problem today, but I'm looking for future ways to engage in a conversation with your office, the Corps of Engineers, or whoever it may be, how we can find a solution. I appreciate the history class you gave me. I didn't know all that. But my thing is, I want to find some help for the hurting people in Cherokee Park. We got children up there, we got seniors. I wouldn't want to go to bed one night knowing that somebody got bit by a mosquito or something happened. And then we make a reaction instead of being proactive. We always do things reactive and not proactive. Then we find ways to get things done. So somebody have to lose a life before we get something done. All I'm saying is, where do we go from here from this day forward? You're new here. We need your leadership. We need your guidance to help guide us through this process, because it's been ongoing for years, and people have been coming up here giving us excuses, but I want solutions. I think the people over there want a solution. They appointed you to find solution. They elected me to find solution, not excuses. So I'm looking to the brain trust of who has the expertise to help guide us through this process, and hopefully we can sit down with our legal team, administration, who all the players need to be at the table. Let's develop a master plan on how to resolve the problem around this body of water, because people need help and they're hurting. And I get calls about it all the time. Kids are back in school. You have daycare facility, little children in there. So if anything else, let's do it not only for the children and for the family. It is the right thing to do. It's a moral issue for what I'm concerned. Not only just our elected responsibility, but it's a moral obligation as well. So let's get a meeting with our parish administration and the staff, public works. our engineers and your staff and the Corps, let's sit down and map out a strategy and pass the Attorney General legal mustard and those things. Let's find a way to get that done.
And I definitely agree with what you said, and that's what we need to start, putting our heads together as the three entities and trying to come out with a plan.
But you're going to be the head of the three-head monster.
I'll be glad. I'll be glad. I'll be glad.
Appreciate you coming. Look forward to working with you, and glad you're on the board to help navigate us through this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm glad to help any way I could. Thank you.
Don't let it.
Oh.
Commissioner Lynn, you got 8 more.
Mustafa, thank you for your, congratulations on your move over to the levy board. Will you give me a map of all the Caddo levy board property that is located within Caddo Parish District 4 and the rotation for maintaining that property as far as mowing and cleaning out the ditches and such? Please.
Can you please define your request? Because you gave me a big elephant.
Caddo Parish Commission District 4.
District 4?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All the property in District 4 that is owned and maintained by the levy, will you send me a letter about that property and how often you come by and mow it? Once every year, once every 6 months? And when was the last time that you did it, and when you anticipate being there again?
I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you, sir. That's everything.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Lynn.
Again, we thank you and Ms. Prater for being here today and wish you the best of luck. And please continue to work with those farmers up in northern part of the parish and southern part of the parish. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
That ain't right.
Thank you. Dr. Wilson?
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. We have another guest today, President Dominic. We have Mr. Bob Norwood from the Louisiana Office of Public Health. There was a commission request about food inspections.
Mr. Norwood?
You want to come forward, sir?
How you doing?
Okay. Hey, Todd? He has a laptop.
No, I need to project it up there.
Yeah, they're fixing to switch over. Yeah, okay, they're going to switch over.
I'm Bob Norwood with the Department of Health and Hospital.
Oh, sir, you need to address us and please talk into the microphone.
All right, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about, look it up.
Bob Norwood.
They can watch you on the screen.
Right over there. I'm Bob Norwood with the Department of Health and Hospitals Office of Public Health. I am the Regional Sanitarian Director for Region 7, which includes all the parishes in the northwest corner of the state from Claiborne over to Caddo, from Caddo down to Sabine. We've got 15 sanitarians that work that area, and sanitarian is a nice word for the health inspector, which we're more commonly known as, but we've got 15 sanitarians in the whole region. We've got 5 in Caddo Parish that do all the work for Caddo Parish. That's a pretty monumental task. When you think about just food work alone, there's 1,500 food permits in Caddo Parish. Under those permits, some of them have multiple, what we call an E-code. In other words, you might have a restaurant, a bar, and some other type food service, all under one permit. The biggest example of that, I think, is Harris. They've got like 22 E-codes under one permit. So you've got 1,500 total permits, but you've got many, many more establishments that have to be inspected. Shirley Russell, y'all probably know her. She is the Caddo Parish manager. So anything involving Caddo Parish, you can contact her. If it requires me, then you can contact me. My phone number is 676-7439. I'm on the 5th floor of the State Office building. My email address is bob.norred@la.gov, and you can reach me anytime. If you can't get me there, my cell is 318-372-1217.
Okay, hang on one second. Commissioner Lynn?
I was just going to tell you that I've worked with Miss Shirley Russell several times. I had a restaurant that was full service with bar for 10 years, and that I've received excellent, fair, and accurate service from your department, and I appreciated every single little penalty that I ever got. I deserved, and we were quick to resolve that issue. But they were always fair, and I appreciate that.
Wasn't nothing in the kitchen though.
Since I've been here.
You know, if you leave a ladle in flour, and it's laying on top instead of the handle sticking out, that you get written up for that. And it happens in every restaurant. And that's a very small infraction, but you do get written up for it. And so I've been written up for something as simple as that. But they were always
How many
fair.
steaks you can drop on the floor and pick it back up?
We don't do that. When in doubt, throw it out. Anyway, but thank you. I've gotten great service from you, and it's been fair and accurate. So I appreciate what Ms. Russell does. She's always been a pleasure to work with.
Truly does a great job.
Hang on, please. Let's have us other commissioners. Let's not talk when other commissioners are talking, please. And listen to the person addressing us. Okay, Commissioner Johnson, you up next?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Norwood, is your department also handled like sewer line problems or?
Yeah, in addition to food work.
People putting sewage to the ground instead of into the sewer lines and all that?
Right. In addition to food work, we permit all the individual sewage systems. Now, the community sewage systems are handled by the engineers, and the water systems are handled by the engineers, but all the individual sewage systems at individual homes, we permit those and inspect those. We also inspect all the daycares, all the hospitals.
So y'all will write citations to people violating sewer system conditions? Okay, I'll be giving you a call. I got a long list.
Yeah, okay, you can do that. I get calls every day from Baton Rouge. A lot of people call Baton Rouge. It comes right back to me, but you can call me. And for a sewage complaint, and this is just part of the legality of it, if someone has a sewage complaint, they have to go by the sanitarian's office and sign a complaint. Legal just won't let us do it without that. Reason being, they think maybe I'd drive by my buddy's house if I see sewage in the ditch, and maybe I'd stop at my enemy's house if I saw sewage in the ditch. So to avoid any idea like that, then we have to have a signed complaint.
If you fax me one of those, I'll fill it out and do whatever I gotta do after that.
Excuse me?
If you fax me one of those sheets, I'll fill it out.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll send it back to you, and then I'll give you those addresses.
We'll look at it within 24 hours.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, have you already spoke?
No, sir.
Nice try, Bill.
Commissioner, you and that Commissioner Escalade been over talking all day long. What you talking
You see how I said that so nice?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Somebody's probably got a cell phone.
I forgot the gentleman's name. Nori. Thank you, sir, for coming at the request of our administration. My request for you being here is because I had a bad experience at the restaurant recently where the food was so horrible and I became sick. And I wanted to know whether any type of scoring or rating system on restaurants in Louisiana. I want you to know I'm also an honorary member of the NRA.
All right.
That's the National Restaurant Association, not the NRA. Right? I want you guys to know. Don't get all happy. That's the National Restaurant Association.
You're welcome to join.
It's a big difference.
Since we're having a little trouble here, I'll go ahead and tell you kind of how this works.
Well, let me just finish my comment.
Okay.
You know, when I travel throughout this country that we live in, and Louisiana has some of the best cuisine in America, and I know it's an uphill journey trying to challenge the NRA regarding maybe a scoring system where they show the scoring system on placard outside of the facility, where you can see the people don't have a certain rating, you don't have to eat there. And that's good for the customer, maybe bad for the owners. But we need to know that we're eating good quality, healthy food at these restaurants. If you have a scoring system where it's locked up in a file, we don't know what we eat. But to keep everybody public, all hands on deck. And that's why I wanted you here to find out what are the penalties. Because I know lawsuits and those things, I know you probably hear about a lot of those, but we need to know that we're eating good, healthy, quality food in this state and in our city. And I'm probably not the only one who had food poisoning or bad food. And oftentimes the restaurant owners treat you pretty bad in there as well. So not all of them. We have great restaurants. I support them. But we do have some bad apples in our community that not providing good quality food. So how do you address that?
On the Eat Safe website that we were trying to access, you can go to it on the internet. It's www.eatsafe.la.gov. That will bring up a home page. On the left-hand side, you'll see a series of blue blocks. I think it's about the second block will be, says for consumers.
That's right,
You can click on that item for consumers. That'll bring up another list. A little farther to the right, you can scroll down that list and you'll find a place for establishment inspections. And you can open that, and when you do, it's going to have a search bar. You can put any restaurant in the state of Louisiana in that search bar, and it will bring up the most recent 3 reports for it.
Okay.
And when this was started back in 2003, it was probably 2005 before it actually got on the internet, because they wanted every restaurant to have at least 3 inspections, because an inspection is just a snapshot in time. And talking about grades, you know, this inspection may do great today and may not do so good the next time we're there. That's why they wanted 3, so you'll have a representative sample. Grades, they've talked about that on and off over the 13 years I've been working for the state and before. There are places that want them, there's places that don't want them. I kind of see good and bad in it. Like I said, it's a snapshot in time. If you're in there right now and it gets a bad grade, you know, 3 hours from now the place may be spotless. And so that grade is not really that good of indicator. To me, it's much better to look at the last 3 reports, and if they're consistently getting a lot of violations, that's something you might want to consider. If they're consistently getting low numbers of violations, then that's something you could consider on the positive side. But go ahead.
The state was the only one would know about, because it's like it's private information, not public information.
No, it's on the website. When you pull up that report, it's gonna, if they had 3 critical violations, they're gonna be listed right there. It's gonna tell you what they were. If they had more, you know, non-critical violations, they'll also be listed right there. Critical violations, we go back within 12 to 24 hours to make sure they're corrected if they can't be corrected on the spot. And non-criticals, if they have 5 or more, we treat them like criticals. In other words, they need to be fixed by the time we do that re-inspection.
Well, you know, here again, I know it's a very perplexed problem, and it won't be solved between you and I talking, but hopefully some way in the future that we will get innovative enough to, like other cities and counties across this country, they have policies in place where you see a placard sign with a score there, and you can know where you want to go, and not based on the score and the range and the laws of average. So hopefully we can get to sophisticated enough where we don't have to go into the computer and do all that. I didn't know time I'd go in there, because you'd have been and did all the work for me, and I don't have to go in and do all that. But you don't have enough staff, and that's a long story. But here again, thank you for all the work that you do, understaffed, undermanned, and
you're welcome.
You fight in an industry, NRA. It's hard to fight with the little manpower you have. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to know when they go in a restaurant. Right. And I want people to be in business to make money, but I also want people to go in and eat healthy, good quality food. And we know a lot of things going on in the kitchen that we don't see.
That's true.
And you can make people mad, they don't tell them what they do to your food.
That's true.
You know, so you got to be careful how you treat the customer and the owner, because they can do something to your food, poison you or give you old food and do all kind of things. So.
By and large, that's their livelihood, that's their business. They're trying to put a good product out there, and we go in.
Don't make a reservation.
Something you may notice on the website is you'll see some places that are inspected more often than others. And that's because we inspect them according to risk categories 1 through 4. A risk category 4 is anywhere that has a highly susceptible population, being a daycare or a hospital or a nursing home, that type of facility. A risk category 3 is any establishment that cooks a wide variety of food, beef, chicken, different items that require different cooking temperatures and different ways of handling them. A risk category 2 would be something that's just like a sandwich shop. A risk category 1 is primarily bars. And so the 4s we inspect 4 times a year, the 3s 3 times a year, the 2s and the 1s accordingly. Now, if we see a place that is trends to where they have a high number of criticals, a high number of non-criticals, it's at my discretion to bump that number up based on that. So a 4 can go to a 5, a 3 can go to a 4, and until they start.
But thank you for coming and sharing that information with me. I just want to make reservations, and they know I'm coming. That's what I.
All right. Commissioner Cox? So when I see you walk in the door, that's a done deal too, so. Okay, let's get, now, you got 5 inspectors. Are they on a certain grid per Caddo Parish, or do they come in and they say, okay, you give them this list, and you may have a sewer in that list? Explain to me, how do you work your 5 people?
We're given the way that everything is managed out of Baton Rouge now.
Oh, well.
We get in the last 2.5 years, there's been great changes made in the way the inspections were done. We went through about 1.5 years of getting everything current. Ever since August 2012, every establishment in the state has been 100% current with inspections, and that has stayed that way to this date. And we get a list that shows everything that's due this week, everything that's due for the next 3 weeks, and anything that might be past due. And those establishments are parceled out to the different sanitarians, and they will go in, each one goes into a different area, and we'll inspect those places. They don't all necessarily go back to the same area every day. To me, that's a good thing, because you get a different set of eyes looking at that place, and you'll notice more things that way. You don't overlook something you saw last time. But that works out good. If they're in the area where there's a sewage complaint or a permit needs to be written, then they go ahead and do that too.
Okay, yeah, because my main concern is not the restaurants, because we're in Louisiana, we roadkill. So, that's not my problem. My problem is the sewers that you got. John Doe, he said, well, I can't afford to fix my sewage, so I'm just going to run it out to the creek or run it out to the road or something like that. In South Caddo, that happens a lot. So then when you said we have to fill out a complaint form now, I've never done that before, because in the past years, all I do is call the office.
If I get a call from the commission, or Shirley gets a call from the commission.
You talking about this commission?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do it right then. We don't have to have a form.
Okay.
We're talking one government agency to another.
But if we have a body like a homeowners association, and they have one tenant out there, 2 tenants, that's letting their sewage drain, they can file a complaint and fax it to you, or is there an email, or?
Right. An individual can file the complaint, and we'll go do it. They have to sign the.
So they do have to personally sign it.
Yeah,
so that
I've
means
got to
they
have
have
a
to come
signature
down.
for that.
I mean, you're gonna be filing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Call us.
Okay. All right. Now, do we have a line hookup to his?
Yes, sir, we got that.
Okay. On our website?
I gotta check that.
Okay.
If not, we can hook it up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
You get that right?
Bonjour, monsieur.
You do?
Yeah.
Commissioner Escudero.
Oh, you running the thing?
Yes.
So, as I understand it, the reason for having whoever filed the complaint sign the complaint is to ensure that your guys do their job, that the complaint's followed through on.
Anytime we get a complaint, it's inspected within 24 hours, or they have to.
If it's a signed complaint, somebody's going to go out there, whether if it wasn't signed, and if it's somebody who may know somebody who was a violator, they can just say, oh, I never got that call or something. So it's a record. So it actually protects the people to make sure that those are followed up on. I mean, it's cumbersome, but that's why you have it done, correct?
Right. As part of the legal department in Baton Rouge, we've had, or they've had instances, where one neighbor didn't like another neighbor and, called in complaint with no signature and there's nothing wrong, that type thing. So they want a signed complaint.
Right, I got you. I just have one other question for you, well, maybe two. Do you eat out?
Sir?
Do you eat out?
I didn't understand.
Do you eat out?
Oh, yeah, every day.
Thank you.
Three times a day, most days.
Okay.
Those are good places too, huh?
All right. Knowing what you know,
He knows where not to go.
They cook at my house.
Well, maybe it's me and not you.
It is.
All right, next is Commissioner Epperson.
Is that a wrap for the gentleman? That's it?
That's it, unless you talking about something else?
Right, I want to ask about the water deal, if he's finished.
Okay, Mr. Norwood, I think nobody else is on the board, so we're through with you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norwood.
We'll be in touch.
So Ken, once you come on up, we can address Commissioner Epson's concern.
That poor man, he doesn't have to sit here, he can leave.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Norwood, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes, sir.
If you would I'd ask for the, what's the lady's name with the
Jennifer.
Who?
Was it Jennifer,
White.
Jennifer Kilkin. Jennifer Kilkin. She's the engineer for water.
Where was her reason for not being able to attend?
Yeah, Commissioner,
Get your laptop up there.
the issue is,
Thank you.
go ahead. Yeah, we got our wires crossed. It's probably my fault in this because Ken and I talked about a week or so ago, and he reached out to Jennifer, and he emailed you all the response from Jennifer.
Okay, now hold up right here.
Okay.
I got the email, but what did I ask you all to do?
They have Jennifer come?
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay, I got that email.
What is it?
See, I don't understand it when,
Yeah.
just honor a request. But there's a reason for it.
You're right. That's my fault.
Had I wanted Mr. Ward's response, I would have asked him to be here, and I would have responded to his email. I just don't understand why we just can't do what we ask sometimes.
Well, you're right, Commissioner. That's my fault because when I was talking to Ken, he told me we had gotten the answer to one of the question you asked about the frequency, and I said if he's already answered the question, then I don't think she need to come if we already addressed the question. That's my fault, and I do apologize for that. But that's the only reason why she is not here. But we did have that conversation, and Ken reminded me today of that. Yes, sir.
I had Mr. Jones to come down because I specifically wanted them to make their spiel publicly. And then I wanted them to meet with Mr. and Mrs. Jones afterwards. So at this time, I would like to ask Ms. Jennifer, whatever her name,
Yes, sir, we'll
to
get
be
it
present at the next work session.
Yes, sir.
And in the meantime, Mr. Ward, if you would you entertain Mr. and Mrs. Jones in a conference room and see if you could answer some of their concerns?
Sure, no problem.
And I apologize for you all coming down and not having an individual that I thought would be here.
And Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I do apologize too, ma'am. I wasn't aware that you all going to be here. I do apologize. We'll have her here the next time we meet. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just walked back in, so,
Yeah, that concludes my report.
next item.
We move to communiques and committee reports. For a note, the commission will sit as a tax board of review Thursday, September 4th during the regular session.
Okay, anybody got any communiques or committee reports? Hallelujah. Next item.
President's report.
Have none.
Next, we move to new business. Okay. Zoning case P-1514 in regards to ordinance number 5413 of 2014, amending chapter 51 of the Code of Ordinances of Caddo Parish by amending the property located on the west side of East Kings Highway, 640 feet of East Burke Coons, from B1 Business District to B1E Buffer Extended Use District, limited to a veterinary hospital and kennels, the inside boarding of animals only. Dr. Adam Foray, applicant.
Okay. Have a motion to move this to Thursday?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Bowman to move Thursday. Please vote.
Sir.
I had a question, but I'll go ahead and vote.
Oh, do you need to ask something?
Sure.
I mean, yeah,
Hang on. I haven't,
On this?
yeah, go ahead, I'll move to
well,
Thursday.
hang on. We haven't all voted yet, but you wanna, I'll let you I'll let you go ahead and ask a question now. That's what it's here for.
You wanna come play in my yard?
That's my question.
What's that?
Where exactly, since we don't have our computer, where exactly is this?
It's on East Kings Highway, past Burt Loon.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Hang
Going
on.
to
hang on,
LSU?
Commissioner.
Looks like you're going to LSU?
Yeah,
Back way.
I know what it
Once
is.
you cross Burt Coons, East Kings Highway, it's right there on the right before you get to Marvin Gardens, and the old Marvin used to be on the left. It's a
Yeah.
veterinary hospital right there, Dr. Foray and them.
okay, all right. Fine, never mind.
Okay,
Ain't no thing.
please vote.
Oh, you don't have that.
Where mama don't get called.
All right, now we're ready to go. All right, next item.
Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5414 of 2014, amend the budget for estimate revenues, expenditures by $300,000 from the Riverboat Fund and Oil and Gas Fund to cover shortages for Riverboat gaming revenues.
54.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Baker. There's some commissioners. Commissioner Escaday.
Explanation, please.
Oh, you don't get that?
Commissioners,
My mom.
as I explained to you all earlier in the year when we were looking at the estimates for riverboat revenues, we determined that we will not achieve the amount we have budgeted for riverboat revenues, and so therefore the expenses that we have in the fund, the expenses exceed what we have available for revenues and fund balance. So to cover the expenses that you all have budgeted for the 2014 year, we need about $300,000 from the oil and gas fund.
Go ahead.
Follow. Are you saying we're going to fall short by the 300,000? You're estimating, of course, you don't know.
Right, we're just doing an estimate based on the revenues that we've received so far through the July 31st. We're anticipating, based on the amount budgeted, we would fall short by 300,000. We'd already drawn the fund balance down, so fund balance is not enough to cover the amount, the shortage.
Okay, say we have strong last quarter or something like that, and we come in 100,000 to the good. What happens to the excess?
We can
Stays in the riverboat fund?
we can leave it in the oil and gas fund. We can transfer it back.
That's your option, but the way it's requested right now, it doesn't happen that way. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
but when we do, if that's what you all would like, we can allow that to happen. We just cannot allow this fund to have a deficit fund balance.
I
So
certainly
we're just,
understand that. So my preference is that if we come in over, that money automatically goes back where it belongs, and then we can start next year's budget year from scratch.
we can do that.
Thank you.
What we can do is we can just make the transfer at the end of the year and only transfer what's needed as opposed to what's budgeted.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch.
I believe there's a saying that says, Houston, we have a problem. I'm not so much concerned about where it goes back to than I am that we shouldn't have blown through it in the first place.
I can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
We blew through this money.
Bring your hands. Okay.
We blew through this money.
Do what?
Just
Hang on.
through
The riverboat money.
riverboat money.
Oh, okay.
When we did our budget, we had how much left in the fund balance? Was it about $500,000?
In Riverboat?
In
No,
the
ma'am.
fund balance, what was it?
We projected that we would have 300,000, and then we projected that we would use a portion of that to fund 2014 expenses.
Okay, right. So, but how much of that 300,000 was gonna go to expenses?
200,000.
And how much were we budgeting that was gonna come into the fund this year?
We budgeted 1.6 million.
How much do you think we're gonna get?
1.3 billion.
1.3?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, has this gone back to the committee, or is this just, because we could reduce the appropriations and not transfer money in, correct? Or has it all been spent or just appropriated?
Because these are for the NGOs,
Right.
we have signed contracts with the various NGOs.
Is it all NGO, or is it some subsequent monies that we appropriated after the budget was passed last December?
Majority of it's NGOs. We also have some administrative costs as well as debt service.
How much?
How much debt service? The debt service is 195,000.
What about admin?
129,000.
Okay.
And then we have some capital outlay, capital
Okay, but the
projects.
NGOs, we know what that amount was gonna be when we passed the budget, right? I mean, that was set. So I'm
Correct.
trying to see how did we come up short?
The revenues is what we estimated. We based the NGOs and the administrative budget and the transfers based on what we projected revenues.
Okay.
So once we've anticipated that we're not going to achieve our revenue number, then that leaves us short for what we have budgeted.
Okay, so
Usually in these circumstances, you have enough fund balance to cover any shortage in the majority of our funds, but we've drawn the fund balance down in Riverboat to a level that we cannot compensate for the shortage.
Right. So basically, we're covering admin and debt service, this 300,000, basically.
I would say we're covering all the expenses in the fund, the majority of which are NGOs.
Well, 195,000 and 129,000 is how much?
324,000.
Yeah, but the total expenses in the fund is 1.6. I can't look at just certain expenses. You have total expenses
Okay,
in the fund.
I'm just looking at certain expenses for my questions, for the purpose of my question.
Right, you asked would that just only fund that, and I'm saying no, because we have $1.6 million in expenses.
300,000 is the admin expenses, which is an arbitrary number to some degree. And the debt service, which I've been trying to get out of Riverboat for 10 years, to stop being taken out of there anyway. So that's 324,000. Okay.
You could say it that way, or you could also say it covers 20% of NGOs. Either way, we need that money to cover the total expenses in the fund.
I know you all would like to kill every program that we have going to the community, but that's not going to happen.
No, ma'am, we just want to fund, we're just trying to cover the total expenses that's in the fund.
What I would like is for you all to stop taking debt service out of the Riverboat Fund. And I understand the admin expenses are taken out of, all the funds. But it's an arbitrary number. It could be 50,000 as well as it's 129,000. So you all, y'all nipping and tucking at money that should be, all of it, 100% going back to the community, in my opinion. So
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
Oh, that's okay. First question is for Attorney Frazier. Are all our NGO gonna meet their requirements to get their funding? Or do we might have a couple that might not?
I have,
Basically, are we gonna spend all the money that we appropriated to spend?
if you do, well, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, Commissioner, because basically now we're still going through their reports from the first half of the year. And there were several of them that had to send additional information, so we won't know, I have no way of knowing that. We're just trying to get it all in prior to you all reviewing the applications for 2015.
Right. But before they
what
get the other funds, that will have to be cleared up first.
I was about to say, if they have not drawn down all of their funds, they cannot get any more until that first half report is complete and in compliance.
Okay.
And so I have no idea.
All right. And, which leads me to my next question. Before the Riverboat Gaming came in, how was NGOs funded before that? It's before my time, but I know somebody around here know how that was happening.
I didn't research to see what level of NGOs we had before Riverboat Revenues. Riverboat Revenues came about 94, 95, and we were not budgeting 1.6 million.
I know, but we were budgeting something. The
I would
commission
have
at the
to
time.
we would have to do research to determine at what level and where they were funded. I
Find
can't
out what the level was at that time before the riverboats came in, and what fund was that coming from before that happened. That kind of gives me an idea of, where we should be at with all this. The 324, that's based upon what we projected from the beginning, and then all the amendments throughout the year, plus handling the administrative and debt services, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But as we said, if the expenses come in less based on the cooperative endeavor, we will only transfer what we need to have a minimum level fund balance and not have a deficit in the fund. We may not need the full 300,000. We still have to reduce the revenues by that amount because you have to have a budget at least 95%, collect at least 95%. But we don't have to make the transfer. We only have to make what's needed in the fund.
Okay, and also I would like, since I am the chairman of that group, to make sure the last 3 years, what type of, if there's been a shortfall each year, what's the percentage each of those years for the last 3 years? If we had an increase one year, kind of give me a reason why it was.
I don't know the last time Riverboat Revenues went up.
It's been decreasing for the last 3 years.
They've been decreasing.
All right, so give me the decrease amount the last 3 years, and then for 2015, I'll be more prepared to see how we need to be aligned.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lynn.
Mrs. Bryant, what is the actual balance in the account right now for allotment for Riverboat?
When you say the actual balance?
Yes. Is there a dollar amount in that account?
Well, we have to estimate based on what your beginning fund balance is, what your projected revenues are, and what your expenses are. Beginning fund balance was.
Do you have the amount in the bank today?
What?
Versus what has yet to be paid that is owed for this year?
Well, sir, the commission pools all its funds into one bank account.
Always have.
So, far as the actual balance in the account, we can
Right,
tell
but
you
you
what.
break it out into sections.
Yeah, we can
And so
tell you-
if it were broken out hypothetically, what would that number be?
Right now, if you just purely base it on cash, they're in a deficit cash, meaning that we do not have cash on hand based on the amount of expenses we've paid out, because we pay out. So if you budgeted 1.6 million in CAs, we, in the NGOs, we go ahead and pay those money out quarterly, although you're only bringing in your riverboat revenues monthly. Usually you have enough fund balance to carry you cash-wise. Riverboat does not. So what it essentially has to do is borrow from the other funds to pay its expenses. We charge at a 1% rate for doing that. So if you're just purely basing it on cash, they do not have cash on hand. However, by the end of the year, when all revenues are received and any transfers are made, we should be back into a debit cash.
Okay. May I have that spreadsheet?
Which
May I have
spreadsheet?
the one as far as how much was drawn out versus how much the riverboats have paid in that would bring it to that negative amount?
When you say the spreadsheet, are you referring to the cash balance?
Yes.
As of,
Current
yes.
cash balance is what has been drawn down, what is expected to be drawn down by the end of the year, what has been paid in by the riverboats, and what you anticipate to be paid in on a conservative level for the rest of the year.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
All right, and Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My comments and questions regarding the administration's role is to give us a guide on how we should look at how we fund things and NGO funds, and that's only a guide. We don't have to be limited to 300,000. We can say we can put $2 million in there.
Well, that's
It's left up to us. We are the governing body.
right.
They give us a guide. They give us what they feel, recommend to us, but we can amend and change anything we want. We are the legislative body. We have the power. And nobody has to limit us to this particular budget to 1.6. We can say 2.6. The question is, do we have the courage to stand up to it when the time comes? Secondly, a lot of even the capital outlay budgets, we fund a lot of capital projects through our bonds. Our bonds failed this year. Okay? We fund a lot of things through bonds, capital improvements through bonds. They failed. So I respect the wise financial decision of our parish finance director. She is being wise in saying we're going to have a shortage, and based on what I see from a lot of the NGOs, they haven't been living up to their expectations anyway. They come in and ask for money, we never see them again. Only time they come up, and half of them won't even speak to you. You know, so I mean, I'm going to be a little more conservative and fund a lot of the NGOs, because a lot of them ain't nothing but duplication, doing the same old thing, they ain't getting nothing done. So I'm sick and tired of people come down. Only time you see them in 1 year is doing budget. Would you rather feed people?
There you go.
Would you rather feed poor, hungry people,
Preach it
more
again.
children, or sit around and fund some NGO just because they're a pet project and they don't have no evidence base and they ain't doing nothing? Well, you know, we need to hold people accountable. We get elected, and when we don't do right, they fire us. We don't get hired again, but they keep on asking down for funding. So I'm gonna be a little more conservative in how I look at giving people the taxpayers' money. And unfortunate, I think it ain't right. Time they show up down there and want some money with their hand out, and we never see them. That ain't right. They disrespecting us and respecting the people of Caddo. And thirdly is we give direction on how this budget process. They give us a guideline. Like I said, we are the legislative body. We can change the men anything they do. Okay? So let's not get it twisted, as young people would say. They give us something to go by, and we can mend the change, or we can live by what they say. All right? Right. Because the other time we didn't have this riverboat money. Ken and John and I was here. It wasn't like this here, people.
Y'all was broke.
It was some walk out the room and have no quorum. It was some fighting going on, real fighting about this money up here. And now we got a spirit of compromise, and we try to work together. We're one of the best legislative bodies in the state of Louisiana. I would put us against anybody, even in Congress. We do good. We have fun. We disagree, but I think we do pretty good down here. But we do have this NGO fund, which is seems like take the most scrutiny down here. Because look at the people that it helped. So why do we want to limit this budget that helps people that that are hurting because they have no job, they're poor, they working for minimum wage? They can't help but depend on a budget like this. And most of them in our urban districts. Our people are hurting. They poor. They don't have no job. They don't live in Mike's district, in John's, big house. We don't have that. Our people are hurting.
I need to invite you over, brother.
I'm saying, so I thank you for the guide you give us, finance. You do a great job. And I thank you for giving some guidelines on where we at. And even though we still have the ultimate say to amend or end whatever budget that comes about. So for me personally, I'm going to be a little more wise and just approving these NGOs that come down here because to me they just getting a bunch of fat administrative calls and it ain't helping the children and old people at all. Thank you.
I agree 100%.
Oh my gosh. Commissioner Baker.
On the capital
I don't know what to
outlay.
say about that.
We pay capital outlay monies out of this riverboat.
We did budget capital outlay for vehicles and equipment type items.
Parts of it.
Parts of it that we couldn't use bond money for.
We had already budgeted this for those
Yes, ma'am. We have historically budgeted capital projects out of the
riverboat and administration costs. And this is in addition to the administration budget, or just?
Yes. Well, and prior to now, I had heard Commissioner Johnson say how much, but prior to this, we budgeted substantially for capital projects because we did not have bond money. We didn't have open gas, so we used Riverboat. We've reduced that number significantly.
Right.
Okay. And this was not your request for the, committee? It
X
just-
how much too?
Huh?
X how much
For
for
administration?
the capital,
How much for capital outlays?
195.
I can give you a history, but we have gotten as much as over $1 million out of
I'm talking about
Riverboat.
this.
Oh, for this year, 400,000.
Gotcha. 400,000?
400,000?
Yes.
No, that was out of Riverboat.
Thank you.
And, what was the last thing I asked you?
How much out of this budget?
400,000 came out.
No,
We have fund for capital.
I was asking, how long, you just now realized this, or just been going on all year?
No, ma'am.
Cause my concern is this, is that, I was listening at Donna's respond to, I think Commissioner Johnson about the monies left for, this year for the NGOs that we already appropriated. I mean, it's time, this request already made for 2015, and we still owe money out for 2014?
Yes, we have a process where they have to report July 31st. And for those entities that have not received all of their funds, if we have issues with their reporting, then they may not receive the remaining funds.
Did you receive a 2015 request from them?
Probably so. I can't say for sure, but more than likely, we've received requests from almost all of the entities that we received it from in the prior year. A majority of the NGOs get a lump sum payment, but those that have a larger portion may actually get paid quarterly as opposed to the lump sum.
Well, again, this is sounding like a committee issue that we are bringing out in the boardroom. But, because I feel like this too, if you got appropriations for 2014 and you haven't reported correctly, you shouldn't even be allowed to do a 2015 application.
You all will get that information if they are not in compliance by the time you'll know before you approve anything, and that's your all's decision.
But you not understand what I'm saying. You got to go back and say, well, okay, your July 31st report was incorrect, so you can't get appropriations for 2015 until they get corrected or whatever. I mean, where's the rules and regulations on that? You're just gonna, I mean, it's just committee. It's a committee issue.
Yeah, let's handle it.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
It's a committee issue. We shouldn't be discussing this because there's so much stuff that needs to be
Hang
talked
on one
about.
second, we got too many commissioners talking at one time. Commissioner Baker, you still
I
have the
just said it's a
floor?
committee issue because there's too many things we having to deal with out here when it should have been dealt with in the committee.
Well, they stuck it on this.
Thank
Well, if I'm correct, the $300,000 is just simply saying that we were short receiving funds,
Still gonna do it.
$300,000, but we actually budgeted more to spend.
Right.
So we're taking money out of oil and gas to cover those funds. I don't see it being that big of a
Done it
difficult
before.
issue. Okay, Commissioner Lynch, you've already spoken, haven't you? Okay, so we'll go to Commissioner Escaday and then back to you, Commissioner Lynch. John?
I want to comment on what Doug said. He pretty much hit it on the head. Look, what we're talking about here is the accounting, balancing the fund balance. Our financial picture is still strong. You know, it's not Ms. Bryant's or finance's fault. They estimate the revenues, and estimating gambling revenues is a crapshoot, throwing the dice.
No pun intended.
That's right. We sit through these meetings, appropriate these funds. She warns us, this is what I'm estimating is available. Don't overspend. Keep a reserve. And guess what? We didn't do that this year. Time and time again, all through this year, we had, oh, they missed the deadline. They this. We kept spending the money. Now she wants to balance the budget and take care of the figures that we created. And we want to find fault with finance. The blame lies right here, ladies and gentlemen, right here. So the only thing that I will advocate once again is when we get into this budget, again, as we have in years past, get our best estimate with those NGOs, with the Riverboat Fund, pick a reasonable number, accounting for reserve, and don't go over it. We're going to have to make some hard decisions, but it's not her fault, and it's just a simple accounting thing. It doesn't really need to go anywhere other than we ought to go ahead and give her the authority to fix the mess that we created. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Lynch?
I don't think anybody's putting any blame anywhere on Ms. Bryant, and I
am. We did it.
I kind of resent every time this budget issue comes up, people try to make this personal. And it's not personal, it's about money. And we went through a budget process where we knew what the numbers were. We did NGO appropriations based on that. We've got $700,000 coming out of this fund that potentially could have come from other funds. The $450,000 from capital outlay for capital outlay projects, $195,000 for debt service, and the $129,000 for administrative fees. That did not have to come out of Riverboat. We could have $700,000 fund balance right now, and still give money to all of the organizations. So this is a little bit beyond just saying we budgeted an amount and we came up short. And I'm hoping that this year that we'll look at moving some of those particular three expenses, looking at another way to fund it. Because it's two things that are happening here. We're depleting Riverboat to basically gonna have a very low fund balance, and we're steady pulling money out of oil and gas, which we said that we were going to use for economic development, things that benefited everybody, and so on and so forth. We talk one thing, we're doing another. We're steady pinching on that money. And the only thing that's growing, Riverboat's going down, oil and gas is going down. The only thing that's fattening like a fat cat is the general fund. Money just sitting there, just growing. And, you know, these funds that directly benefit the community are just being depleted. And so I do have a concern about every time there's a shortage, those two funds have to take a hit, particularly for capital projects and for debt service. So, you know, I don't know. Do we have to do this today? I have two questions, basically. Do we have to do this today, or can we look at this again in October?
No, ma'am, the reason we're doing it now is because you have to adopt your Riverboat budget for 2015, and you cannot adopt a budget that's projecting a deficit fund balance.
Okay.
So we have to have the amendment approved so we can have.
That's what I want to make sure. Now, does this, is it up to 300,000? Because I know you said if it's.
We're saying up to 300,000 based on the total revenues that come into the fund by the end of the year, the total expenses transferred. What we need to have at least $100,000 fund balance is what we would transfer.
Okay, so do you have a problem with this saying up to 300, or does it have to be by 300?
No, ma'am, you can say up to 300.
Okay, you know, if that's okay. I don't know who made the motion. Who made the motion on this?
Who made the motion on this?
Mr. Williams did.
Oh, where it says budget of estimated revenues and expenditures by 300,000, it would just say up to 300,000. So they need less.
Substitute motion? I'll second it.
Well, it's 350,000, right?
No, 300.
We're on 14.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have a substitute motion by Commissioner Lynch, seconded by Commissioner Escudate to change the language to up to $300,000.
Is that correct?
Okay. We still have some people on the board that wishes to speak. Commissioner Bowman?
Well, she answered one of the questions. I did have a question as far as just generally, where it says debt services and like administrative, is there a certain percentage that comes out, whether it's NG on all the other departments as well? Not so much the amount, but there's a certain percentage. Like with NGOs, with the Riverboat revenue, I know that amount would be higher. But I mean, a certain percentage for the itemized area for administrative services as well as
Yeah.
debt services.
As far as administrative, we allocate to every fund the cost of the audit,
Right.
the cost to service employees, the cost to accounting software.
Gotcha.
So that's what your administrative, and we're charging that back to all funds that have, that participate in that. Then on the debt service, when we issue bonds for CCC,
Correct.
we issue those bonds with intent that some of those costs would come from the Riverboat Fund. And we've been taking debt service out of Riverboat Fund pretty much since its
It's
inception.
it started, right?
Yeah.
So that's my point of information. I'm just asking, is it like, this is standard, right?
Yes, we've been taking, and a lot of it is the amount of availability of unrestricted revenues that you have.
Right. So we really have no, I wouldn't say power, but as far as, that's standard across the board, we really can't take that out anyway, right?
On the debt service,
On the
we
debt
can
service.
adjust on the capital projects.
Yeah,
Obviously,
capital
we can-
projects, yes, that doesn't have to
We
come
can
out,
adjust
but
on the
the other is
administrative
standard.
costs.
Okay, I just want to clarify. Thank you, Ms. Bryant.
All right, I call for the question.
Second.
I have a call for the questions, please vote.
Vote.
It was moved by myself and seconded by Commissioner Johnson, and that passes 12-0. Next, we'll vote to the substitute motion to change the language regarding ordinance number 5414 up to $300,000. Move to Thursday, please vote. And that passes 11-1. Commissioner Lynn votes no. Okay.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5415, 2014, amend the 2014 budget estimate of revenues and expenditures for the building maintenance fund, increase transfers out by $246,000.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Williams.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowman.
Well, let's see, we got some people to speak.
Okay, does anybody wish to speak on this? Commissioner Johnson?
Well, let me talk.
Who made the motion?
I thought you weren't gonna talk much today.
I changed my mind. They started talking
Okay,
about this
Commissioner
money.
Williams, you're the maker of the motion, go ahead.
Here again, this is the same, this fund, this capital project. And our finance did what she do in past budget, give us an estimate and transfer these funds. If it had not, we would have passed these bond issues while we running around here. We'd have passed these bond issues, we'd be having to do this capital outlay project, getting this money out of this fund for this. If we would have passed this bond and we had a shortage. We had some commissioner voting against the bond issue. That's the way we fund capital project, is through bond issues. So let's not beat up on our finance people when those that sit up here were the ones voting, lobbying against passing the bond issues. Thank you.
Preach it, baby, preach it.
You go, Commish.
I'm just telling it like it is.
All right, next one, let's see, Commissioner Johnson?
Do we have, I mean, what's the reason for this? What caused
Reason
this to
for
happen?
this is we budgeted in the capital outlay
Yeah.
fund, $546,000 to come from the building maintenance fund, but we only budgeted $300,000 in the building maintenance fund. Transfers in and transfers out have to agree. So we basically have we have to fix the building maintenance fund.
So there was an oversight somewhere. Okay.
Pretty much.
Thank you.
Please vote.
Where you been? Where you been?
Mr. Jones.
Commissioner Lynch not here. Okay, that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5416 in 2014, amending the 2014 budget estimate of revenues and expenditures for oil and gas fund to reduce the appropriation for royalties by $350,000.
So moved to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Williams.
No comment.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Can you please explain this real quick, please, again?
It's similar to the riverboat situation in that the oil and gas revenues have a severe lag in when we could actually receive the revenues. So like right now, we may be receiving April, May, and so when we projected it, they were higher in the beginning of the year, and they decrease later in
Drastically.
2013, so we overestimated for 2014. It's simply fixing the budget. The State Budget Act says you cannot, once you don't achieve your revenues by 5% or more, you must amend your your line item.
That was my question.
Please vote.
You out of order.
Okay, that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5417, declaring certain adjudicated properties.
A motion by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by the chair. Please move. Please vote. That passes 11-1. Please vote. Next item.
Authorize introduction of ordinance 5418, 2014, close abandoned portion of Dalton Street located in the town of Morningsport.
So move.
Second.
Moved by chair, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Please vote. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize ordinance number 5419 to release and abandon certain drainage easement located in Sutton Place number 2.
Moved Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bowman. And Commissioner Johnson.
Can we get an explanation of this?
No.
Move some water, man.
Yeah, but it's fluid in.
Hello, Mr. Ward.
Hello, how are y'all?
Just fine.
We have a drainage servitude off of Stonehenge in Commissioner Thibodeau's district. The two residents came back to us and said they would like to abandon that drainage servitude because they don't like the restrictions that we require on them. But they understand that they got to keep it open. It's a natural drain. What they pretty much want to do is they want to beautify it. They want to put plants and lighting and all kind of good stuff in it. We don't allow that because if we go in there and dig it up, we dig it up. So both residents have come to us. They've signed a letter of support and asked us to abandon it so they can do what they want to in it.
So if it floods,
They wouldn't. There's no reason to flood. I mean, it's a natural drain, and but it's just a natural drain off the end. They're going to maintain a ditch, and they know that.
but by putting all this beautification stuff,
gonna be on
it
the
won't create a
sides.
dam or anything like
No,
that?
sir.
Okay.
They're very clear. We spelled out the state ordinance on affecting of the natural drain, and it'll show natural drain on the plat.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Joe?
Ken,
Commissioner Escaday.
are they aware that after we do this, no matter what happens, don't call us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Please vote.
So they will call.
John.
I'm sorry. There we go.
All right, passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5420 to accept the streets in Summerwood Subdivision Unit 3.
Ken? Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bowman. We have some people want to speak on this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do,
Okay.
Ken, is that off Kimberly? Okay, that subdivision to the right,
The rich folk
when you
neighborhood.
come off of 70? Okay. That's all.
Ken, that rich folk neighborhood where you
Vote.
live, where you.
Rich one on you. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5421, authorizing sale pursuant to Louisiana RS 334717.2, purchase interest less than accept mineral lots in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and part of 16, North Shreveport Industrial Lot, Park, Unit 1, containing in all 30.56 acres more or less, to authorize economic development incentive payments for employees hired by Salve USA or its affiliate companies.
Move to Thursday. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, seconded
Mr.
by,
Williams wants to talk about it.
seconded by who? Who seconded
I
that?
did.
Commissioner Williams.
Lord.
Okay, I have a, Commissioner Williams wants to talk about this.
Well, it's like water line, they want to do economic development right away. Yeah. Remind me of Will Island Road.
You're reading the wrong one.
Explain this one to me, sir.
Waterline next week.
This is the property in the North Shreveport Industrial Park. Solve USA is the parent company of WSP, a chemical company that owns 8 acres there already. They want to purchase this additional 30 acres to expand their plant, add warehouse space and some bulk storage tanks. And they do anticipate hiring extra people
Buying land from us.
to accomplish all this.
Thank you.
People going to work.
Thank
We get some revenue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got confused.
Water like gold.
Please vote.
That's what I keep telling everybody.
And that passes 11-0.
Authorize
Robert,
introduction of
124.
local assessment ordinance number 52 of 2014, accept the construction and improvement of water line within right-of-way of portion of Maggie Lane.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox.
Question?
That's, press your button.
Go, let's go.
Commissioner Williams. All right.
That's the question.
Hello, Mr. Ward.
Explain this one, Mr. Ward.
How y'all doing?
That's fine, you doing all right?
Been a while.
Name, address.
Don't worry about it. We know
Ken
you.
Ward, 505 Travis Street, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Don't
Pay
tell,
positive.
don't tell us your home address. You might be calling, giving you a duck call.
Exactly, you're right. Yes, sir, what can I do?
Explain,
This is, if you remember back in February, we had over 61% of the residents on Maggie Lane come to us, ask for a water line for us to construct. This is the actual completion of that. Ordinance 51 actually gave the authorization to start construction. We did start it, we built it. We built it for about $57,000, and we're now asking for, the line is in, completed, and we're asking now for the residents to pay their 90% portion of it.
Amen.
what was our 20%? What was our
10%, that's about almost $8,000.
Well, that sounds like a winner to me. That's simple arithmetic. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And that's,
No, that's it.
All right, please vote. Oh,
Can't vote
you
no
need to
against
talk.
that. They paying us to
That's
play
sleeping
ball.
dogs lie.
Good job, Mike.
11-0 pass. Next item.
Authorize resolution number 44, urging and requesting Congress to adopt legislation to prohibit American companies from using inversion to avoid taxes.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, seconded by Commissioner Williams.
Yeah.
Does everyone understand,
I'm
what
sure.
this is?
yeah, they've seen Burger
This one
King.
we talked about before.
Burger King.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Oh, okay, all right, for Thursday.
Got it.
Oh.
Okay.
Commissioner
I'm going to
Eastman.
support this, but I'd like to see us perhaps consider another resolution that would ask the federal government to go ahead and reduce the corporate tax rate so we don't have the highest tax rate in the world.
Point of information, my reason for this, because we figured it's a trigger bipartisan agreement in reducing the corporate tax. That's on the table.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm just, okay.
Oh, look at that. Look at
Spirit
that.
of compromise.
Look at that compromise. Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about DC. Absolutely. That comes from DC.
Well, we'll set them an example. Again, we'll set them an example.
Don't get it twisted.
We'll send them a tape.
That's right.
Let's send them a tape of Commissioner Williams.
Oh, no.
Commissioner Baker, please vote. Okay, that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize resolution number 45, 2014, supporting the Caddo Bossier Pathway to Prosperity Second Chance Initiative.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Please vote.
I talk Thursday, I preach Thursday.
Please. Give us a pass.
Passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize resolution number 46, 2014, opposing changes or cuts to the Parish Transportation Fund.
So moved.
Second.
What about the Little League one?
No, that's the
This is the addition.
Okay, so
Oh,
addition, okay.
That's why.
All right, moved by Commissioner Johnson, right?
Yep.
Second by Commissioner Epperson, please vote. And that should pass, it does. Next item.
Authorize the President of the Caddo Parish Commission to sign and send a letter of support to the U.S. Congressional Delegation of Louisiana supporting the recently introduced Marketplace and Internet Tax Fairness Act.
That's a new, that's a
Move for Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Please vote.
little old up there, we don't see that.
You weren't quick enough.
Okay. We got the resolution.
I didn't do it.
Gerald, okay, good to go. 11-0. Pass it, next item.
Authorize special resolution honoring Louisiana Little League District 4 coaches and managers.
Move for Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, seconded by the chair. Please vote.
As for everybody to invite their Little League coaches down, let us recognize the fine job that they do.
All right.
Thursday.
Oh, the numbers.
And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Authorize Ms. Martha Merritt Merrick, Executive Director, Northwest Louisiana Food Bank. Discuss
Move.
Pet Food Bank.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Cox, second by Commissioner Bowen, please vote.
I know what time it is.
Dinner time.
Well, David.
All right, let's go.
Consent.
Move for adjourned.
We're adjourned. See y'all Thursday. Do we have any committee meetings Thursday? Huh?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.